Yeah, your lights do look brighter than mine. There are
I
some
think you look
incredible
better
people
than
every
you.
time. What was that?
You look better than I do because like your back matches your front. Like I feel like I'm just like this. I have a spotlight
I
on
know,
my
but you got
face
the
and I'm
cool
so
like
bright.
neon light in the back. You got some really
I
like
just did
cool
that.
things. I got wood for my
You know what it
fireplace. I got
is
some cool digits and cool stuff in the back, but that's like you can't even see
I
it.
did it. So I moved. So to be close. So I want to talk about partnership. Actually, that's something I want to talk about why you should work with a partner. Now I left Florida. I used to live in Florida. I lived in New Jersey originally, and then I moved from New Jersey to Florida, and I lived there for a number of years. And I wanted to come back home. I wanted to come back to New Jersey, and I used a guy who's right below me, at least in this case. Sometimes he's above me. Now he's below. Um, as my anchor to come back. And I'm happy I did. But this weekend, I finally finished unpacking. It was very cleansing for the mind. And I
Are you
found
serious?
all this
The whole entire
ability to,
time that you've
not
been here, you
completely.
haven't fully unpacked?
Man, no, I unpacked, but there's like boxes everywhere. And I found old files. And actually, that is something I want to talk about today is I found a box, a box of clients from the 2010s, from the 2020, from the 20s, I guess you could say.
Wow.
I want us to take them and put them into a marketing scheme. Scheme, I don't use like that word, a marketing flow to kind of get them back and reintroduce us to my old clients. I found a box full of emails. They're all handwritten, not handwritten, but typed, on old contracts. So I got to literally type them in. But how would we take those old clients that I found a whole box of and get them back in?
Oh man, I mean, are we kidding? I mean, just I think even in the last like 4 years, some of the stuff that we've picked up, everything from the Google My Business, even to the Google Ads. Now, we're really good at Google Ads. We're not as good as some of the other people that I follow. Like, I mean, I follow Solutions 8 and Cosm, and those guys are jump. Those guys are above beyond Justin Broke. Some of these guys are like the big names that I usually follow because they've just been doing. They have a lot more reps. But the stuff that we've learned on Google Ads, Google My Business, even the SEO principles. Again, we just got schooled on SEO. We thought we knew everything we possibly could about SEO, and then we found somebody who could school us. Like it was amazing. It was like, oh my god, I thought I knew so much, and then all of a sudden I got like schooled. So going back to your original question, I think, but the reason I say that is because I think what we knew even like 2 years ago to what we know now, I think because marketing is evolving so much. Even look at like November 22, we talked about it last week. November 22, I think literally rocked the internet.
Yeah,
Finally,
yeah.
AI has been around for a good, I mean, long time.
Over
And
5 years at
I
least
think
by now.
ChatGTP just made it so easy that all of a sudden, like now everybody's like talking about AI. AI has been around
Yeah.
forever. But I think it goes back to what I was saying, even what we found yesterday with like the SEO and like a lot of the different things is I think people are it just marketing is evolving with technology at the same time, and I think there's just so much out there to learn. I think anybody that has been an older client now that we talk to, there's so much that we can kind of fill in the gaps. But going back to that, I kind of want to talk about that a little bit because I think what I want to focus in is talking about the marketing tools we're going to be using moving into 2023, and more importantly, to like help reduce cost, really focus on a few tools and some of the predictions we're making. Right, so we're definitely completely deep in GHL, Go High Level, the all-in consolidation tool that does marketing. It does your funnels, it does your websites, it does your CRM, it does your text messaging, it does your emails, it does all your calendars. We use different variations. We definitely have our favorite. We partnered up with Julie and Kathy and over at FG Funnels, and we leverage their tool quite a bit. And then we have partners like HL Tools who supports people that have agencies and all that, and that's going really well. So like I just think that GHL and like the support system it's starting to really build out. I think it's going to have an incredible incline because more and more
Right.
people are going to discover it, and I just think it's going to be a really good tool for 2023. So GHL is definitely going to be our marketing platform of where we're putting all of our clients, and we
Yeah.
really truly believe. I mean, it's being backed by good funds. The development is really on point. They're always developing a new thing every day. We can hardly keep up with the updates. I was on with the developers today, and I got to be honest. things they're talking about rolling out and some of the new features that are in beta now. For anybody that's running a business,
What are some of those
go
new
high
features?
level. Yeah. So I mean, well, they're redoing the calendars. So now they actually included recurring appointments, which I know we had to do a couple of workarounds for. There's enhancements in the membership area. So for people that are running courses, or even current people that are just like doing any kind of onboarding, or they're training employees, they have assessments that they added that now lock content if you don't pass the assessment. So we saw that today. Yeah, it was a brand new feature that just got added. Blogs are getting enhanced. They're giving you custom code that you're able to add anywhere on the page. So now your blog post, you can do really powerful SEO in there using the old-fashioned like CSS headers and JavaScript that pushes SEO. Then you're also not talking about the advances that they're making. Slack integrations coming, Google Sheets integration. So all the data collection that we're all like using Zapier for and everything else, that's going to eliminate a whole bunch of things. So you're going to be able to track sales calls and all of that. Then on top of it, you got the whole thing trying to get incoming calls. So imagine you're being on this software and now you can take incoming calls. So that means our team, which some of our team is in the Philippines, they can now answer incoming calls to the office, which would be great. So there's a lot of these really cool features that one tool is developing, and because they're throwing so much development power on it, it's astounding. You know what really blows my mind? They have a way smaller team, obviously way less customers than ClickFunnels, and ClickFunnels rolled out 2.0. And man, I mean, I'm a big fan of Russell and all that, but I was in there for a while, and I'm not going to knock it. Like I said, it's a great, like we met through the ClickFunnels community. Go figure.
Hacking Live.
Yeah, I mean, so like I'll never back the community because it's an amazing community, but the software was just, you have all that money. It just was lacking so many things. It was so unuser friendly. The learning curve, and it had all these other features that I'm getting from other softwares, just kind of limited a little bit. So in 2023, it's definitely not a software I'm focusing on. So if you're a business, Go High Level is number one for us. Just because in all of our clients, we're putting all of our clients into it. The second thing that I would really look into is where you're advertising. Now, 3 of the major platforms, actually, I'm gonna probably go into 4. One is, we're big fans of Google. I think Google is going to go far. If you're a local business, and even if you're not a local business, if you're selling any kind of product, getting involved in Google My Business, making sure that you got ads going on. And I think I showed it last week where we talked about augmented reality, I think is going to come into play. I know people are freaking out about, AI and ChatGTP. People are not, like, we are very close to augmented reality being like where you're walking in through, like, let's say your regular ShopRite, and all of a sudden you'll have your glasses on and you're going to see coupons flashing and your totals as you're buying things going. I mean, like, it's already here.
You know what? I remember that box I was talking about in the basement. When I went into that, when I was talking to those clients back in the early aughts, because now I remember that was the word that we used in the aughts, is those days the internet was so new that everybody wanted to get on board. But a lot of those people now are they've had their way. I have a website, Nuno, I'd show it to you if you really want to see it right now, but it's from 2004 and it's still live, and he still has it online. To bring to him a whole totally new thing and convince him to go away from it, it's like they don't even realize how much technology has changed things to make it so much better. We'll keep a client like you wouldn't believe. We stick to people like glue, and to get them into those new technologies and bring them the newest things, I think is so important. If you want, I can show you the site. It's a little embarrassing.
Well, now you got me curious. You can't tease like that. So
okay,
when did you build this site?
Okay, so the original iteration, it's got a different copyright on the bottom, but the original time I built this was in 2004, and he has not changed the design at all.
But he's been your customer for that long, right?
Well, it's weird when you say something like that. When you say he's been my customer for a very long time, yes. Yeah, how do I move this over so people can see it? I don't know. Watch.
I know we're playing this. Oh, I think I did something. I don't know what I did, but look at that. That's pretty cool. I didn't even know we could do that.
Yes. So I built this website so long ago. I just built the website. I never, and this is important for all those people we're teaching right now in the Tech VA course, I never had follow-up. I haven't taken a dime. I haven't worked on this thing since 2004. He's still friendly with me on Facebook, but there was so much more that I could have done with this in the future. He's just had the website, reoccurring model where I could help him market this better. He does rare coins. He hasn't even updated his picture of himself yet. Hold on, no, that's not him.
Yeah, I mean, but that's pretty wild. I mean, and you know, rare coins now, it is definitely a market still. But it's pretty interesting. I mean but that's pretty cool. That, I mean, you're still friendly with it. I mean, but a lot of our customers are in there. I think our newer customers are a little bit more open because they see that we're always trying to be innovative and like making sure that they're, you know, we always have their thoughts in mind, right? I think the other day I was talking to one of our clients, and you know, we found that thing out with we don't want to share the trade secret, but we found out a thing about media and how to connect it really purposely inside of your website and everything else. It interconnects. Wild story, but regardless of the fact is, the second we learned it, we immediately pushed it off to our clients.
Right.
But I think you're right. I think there's just so much we can offer now that we didn't. I think it was just harder back then. You could only do like one thing. You could only do like a website, because learning everything else was just so much harder back then. In 2004, I mean, you're talking about straight HTML onto a page, and if things broke and you missed a period, then that's insane. I mean, now it's a little bit. What was that?
That thing is built in tables with an ASP with a MySQL database. I'm surprised he can even host this.
Yeah. Oh, that's that old. Holy smokes.
To your point, though, you know, that enhancement that we did to your site, your personal website, and to the other website, putting your social icons front and center, whether mobily or on a regular desktop, is huge. Your traffic has gone through the roof.
Yeah, see, I can't even take any credit for that. As much as we do marketing, that wasn't even my idea. One of my coaches, Steve Sims.
That's why we do
he
coaching.
Called it out. He called it out, and yeah, and he was like, how you got to have it everywhere, and I do have it. And he's like, yeah, but not in the right places, and it's not following you on mobile. So he had a great point. I mean, we did it immediately, but it was just a really good point. And then we in turn took that knowledge and shared it otherwise. But going back to the tools, because I think this is important, because I think people are like a little overwhelmed with all the different technologies that are out there, and we're actually we're testing a lot of them, and we're trying to narrow down to the ones that we think definitely have a future base in why we're going. So we already told you about, we're going with Go High Level for our marketing platform, our customer communication, our kind of like CRM in our membership area, because it's got a lot of legs and it's adding a lot of features and it's got really good support. And the documentation and its own community. So we're at the fruit hole of that, and I'm a strong believer in that particular software. Now, when it comes to email deliverability, because we're using Go High Level, we're using Mailgun. Mailgun happens to be our choice of mail providers because it kind of just interacts with that tool very easily. We have very little problems, and if you do mail right, it works out well. Two of the other contenders is definitely ActiveCampaign. I'm still a huge fan of ActiveCampaign.
Yeah,
it's just a powerful tool. It's just a well-built email machine. I think out of all of them, it's the one that always impresses me the most. So I do definitely like that tool. And everybody's like going for these cheaper, newer options, and sometimes it's good. I usually don't go for smaller names, because what I find is when we go into software that we've never heard of, support's very limited. There's very little information out there. It's hard to make things work. They don't integrate well with other tools. So going with established brands for something like your business makes a lot of sense, right? It's like your car. You can buy like a makeshift car and it'll last you and it'll do its thing, but sometimes it'll break down. And you know, I mean, probably a bad example in the car ride, but that's how it is. So we talked about Google also, making sure that you're everywhere on Google, thinking about SEO, thinking about Google Ads. If you're a local business, definitely setting up Google Business Profile. It's free. If you do it the right way, it does generate a lot of calls. We just picked up our new customer, the home automation team. We're really loving that niche, and we fixed his Google My Business here. We already starting to see an increase in traffic and calls by just modifying that Google My Business file. So I think that the combination of those three for a local business is going to be pretty powerful. The one thing that I will also add in that little pile is AI and how we're using AI. But before that, I think you and I were talking about the project management software and where we are there.
Well, before we get into the project management, I just want to go one step back with what you were just discussing and all those new ideas that are coming out. You see, I don't. It used to be that people used to ask me, Andy, what do you do for a living? And I would say I'm a web designer. That long time ago. I would say we're almost more of coaches now who actually do build stuff. You know what I mean? And because we're coaches who build stuff, that's why we're always able to bring people the newest things, because the value of us getting coached since we've done coaching, we've gotten huge, being with Julie and so forth like that. And I think that's so important. And because of that, one of our coaches was like, well, you got to get more organized. So what we've done, based on that, is really worked on our ClickUp infrastructure and figuring out exactly the process and how we work in our project management. Should I bring that up and actually?
No, I think we need to bring it up for examples. I think here's the big lesson, because again, you might have Asana for project management, you might have Money, you might have ClickUp. It doesn't really honestly matter. Here's the biggest lesson that we learned. Because we're techies and we're super nerdy and we love like diving into these things and using these tools to 7 different extremes, we have learned the big lesson of simplicity is the key when doing any kind of project management. The more complicated you make the task, the harder it is for somebody to follow, believe it or not. It's got to be more of a checklist and making sure it's following a flow. And if you need help in completing the task, then having the information tying to that task, but only if and only when.
Well, that's again why I like High Level so much, because High Level takes all of those little programs like you were talking about, those little SaaSes, and puts them all into one SaaS that's very personal, because whenever we want to get our information, we get it like that. And because the community is growing, if you join any of these communities on Facebook or something like that, or if you join a flavor of High Level that has a great community like FG, it's really going to grow. And you're really going to be able to understand it and use it in the most efficient way. Instead of going, to your point, with those little SaaSes, they're here today and gone tomorrow. So you have to be very secure on your software.
Yeah, and pretty much, I think you just say we're not saying there's nothing wrong with like taking something that's like being developed and earning, but you just got to know what you're getting yourself into. I mean,
right.
If you're looking online and nobody hears of it, you know what my biggest check is? If I go in Zapier and I don't see an interconnection, it's usually a sign that it's still working, and it needs a little bit more nurturing to like kind of get it where it goes. Now, with that being said, everybody's been freaking out about AI and everything else. I can tell you that in our ecosystem of things, and this is what we've been telling people, is that you can use AI to make your job easier. Now, everybody's like, oh, AI is going to take over our jobs. Only if you let them. And more importantly, even Google right now, I don't know if you know this or not, but Google's already developing like the algorithm to check to see whether content was written by a bot. So for all these wonderful people that are out there and they're like, I'm just going to make $1 million, and these false claims that are already driving me crazy on YouTube, make $1 million with ChatGTP. Slow down, relax. How about you learn how to enhance?
Like you said, it's a tool. It's a tool. Something like ChatGTP is a tool, and you can use it to get yourself going. But then you've got to add your own flavor, because even right now, Google is able to see that it's a bot. And while you may be on long tail keywords, be able to get some traction, if anybody comes in with a better written blog post or anything like that, they're going to blow you away, because all you've got is a bot. So fine, if you want to get some content out there quickly, use the bot, because it's a long tail keyword. A lot of people are.
But I would actually caution against that, though, because if they just post it up, it will actually decrease site value. It will actually. If Google catches that it's plagiarism, it will actually not even rank you. It actually decrease your ranking. So for everybody that's playing around with these tools, like, fair warning, like, extract what you want, get your ideas, but you still got to go in there and be human, because if you're not the human in there and you're not the thing, you're going to create problems for yourself a little bit later on. But here's the sick part. I went into an AI rabbit hole for like a good 3 days. It was intense. Like, I think
Sure.
literally, like, my wife threw a meal in just to make sure I was alive because I literally I was like sweating at night. It was like one of those old movies you probably saw, like a guy in the dark hours of the night, like scouring the internet. It was pretty wild. But I got to show you this because it blew my mind. I found a couple sites. I'll show the one that I actually went on, and let me see if I can share real quickly. And the sharing now is a little trickier than before. It's called, well, here's one of them. It's called Futurepedia, and the other one is called Future Tools. And I'm actually afraid of showing you this, Andy, because I know how you are.
Yeah.
I'll probably lose you for like 3 days now because I showed you this. But what's cool is, and Future Tools I like a lot. This is the collection of all the AI software that's currently out there right now. But what's really cool is you can actually do it where you do most upvoted, because there are people actually that are out there like testing a lot of this stuff. So there's AI libraries, there's ChatGPT. And by the way, for everybody that doesn't understand, GTP3 is the actual language that, or the, I guess you would call it language that's being used to power all these wonderful things, mostly. And it's out there. And what's really cool about this site, if you go for like inspiration, you can get all these different things that it's doing, like AI prompts that you can use to actually communicate better with the tool. You have a little bit of a cheat sheet. What was that?
They have the prompts right in there.
Yeah. So if you go in, it's and there's a bunch of contributors. These guys are pretty cool. Awesome ChatGTP prompts. It's actually in a GitHub. So if you come in here and you click on the and is my page showing? Because I can't see the screen.
It is. It is showing. It's small because of our form factor, but
yeah.
Is...
But if you look at in here, it actually gives you the prompts to use with ChatGTP. And one thing about all AI tools, and we're actually not learning. We've learned this, but like we're learning more about it. It's literally, I think I'm going to get a shirt that says it's all about the prompts. So it is the questions you ask and how you ask them. That will generate different responses. But look, what's wild is, aside from just that particular thing, there is video editing where it's digital automation to like add things and remove things. It has marketing. So now there's adcreative.ai where it creates, like you come in with like a theme, and it will create like different variations of the ad. With a banner and everything else. It does a little bit of content copywriting. This is developing. Copy AI is another version of Jasper. I've been playing with both of them. Some are better at one thing than the other one is better at the other thing. It's kind of weird. I still like Jasper overall. I think it's just a little bit overdeveloped. It is one of our favorite tools that we do use to help us write copy. Again, help, not do our copy for us. Want to be clear on that, because again, this is what we're advising everybody not to do. Translation, deep translation, everything else. They have speak to text. It was crazy. They even have one, and I thought that this was hilarious. It's called, I don't know if it's this one, but it might be voice manipulation. Now, Andy, how whacked is this? There is one where you speak a little bit into it, and it will gather your voice, and then you can just give it a presentation or a transcript, and it will completely reenact your voice.
Are you serious?
I am totally serious. I think it's Cynthia. God. Yeah, you could. And here in Cynthia, this one's pretty wild too. It videos you. It provides you 100 people that you can use to do text to voice, where they're showing up on the left-hand side and they're like your presenter. But what's wild is, I think Cynthia just created where it makes you the bot, and then you're the one teaching it, and you're in your mouth, and everything else is moving. It is like there's some serious crazy things going on here. I think it is amazing.
Movio, is that what it's called?
Yeah, it's one of them. But yeah, it is definitely wild. But check it out, futuretools.io. I apologize. I know for a fact that half of you people seeing this are going to go into the AI rabbit hole and never come out. I literally had to be talked out of it. But it was amazing, some of the things. And they got one right now that actually we're leveraging to create some of our presentations for our Zapier course, because one of the other tools I was going to get into for 2023, I'm still a big fan of Zapier. I know people are trying to get me into Make. I just had a conversation with Tatiana, another wizard when it comes to automations, and she was like, you got to go over to Make, and Make's good. But I just like Zapier because it's easier to teach, and it's much
Right.
easier to get the things to connect.
And
But it was just
you know,
funny. And
how long are one of those things that are actually pretty old. Zapier's been around for about close to a decade now.
Zapier's been around for a while, and they're also developing. They got a pretty strong community. There's a lot of videos on it. We're gonna be launching a little bit of an entry course. We're gonna do a workshop on Zapier just to help people kind of automate their business. That's gonna be coming out soon later on this year. But those are
Mhm.
like the 4 basic tools. And WordPress. How can we not forget about WordPress?
Absolutely.
Everybody keeps talking about us, but I mean, you've been in WordPress for how long, Andy?
Well, let's see. I believe it was before Obama. Seriously, I'm not making a joke when I say that. It's pre 2008. I discovered WordPress when it was still just for blogs. So that's going to be 2005, 2006, because I had gotten done building ASP websites with MySQL, and I was like, I need something new, and it was so bare bones back then. Such old sites, only used for blogs, not used for content sites, and then built up over there. And
I
then
remember that.
and then
Oh my
I
God, I
and I
remember.
wanted to find something that was better than Drupal. You've heard me say that word before. These sites were so much better with what these WordPress sites, and I built probably over 600 WordPress websites by now. So to
Yeah. So
me,
and what's wild about it is
WordPress
that
is better.
and it's still an older platform. Now I know that there's WordStream, there's a lot of really good ones that are coming out now that we're probably going to venture in and just explore. But WordPress to us is just because it's got such a strong foundation. It's really good to add the different things to it. So I can tell you that right off the bat, that's probably the 5 softwares. The 5 softwares are rolling into 2020. Let me say that again. The 5 softwares rolling into marketing of 2023 is, we're going to go strong and high level. We're definitely going to go all in on Google. We're definitely going to go in on ChatGTP, Jasper AI, and some of the AI software to help us write the content. We are using ClickUp for our project management to just make sure that we're aligned with everything else. And the 5th one is WordPress. We are still sticking to WordPress because we just feel that there's a really strong foundation there. And I think for the sites, for SEO, for all of that developed, and the fact that there's always new plugins and everything else, and it's still 35% of the net, if I'm not mistaken, right?
It's definitely above 25%. And you hear about all these sites that are made like Shopify and Wix and all these things. Guess what? They're just a derivative of WordPress. They're what's called a WordPress multi-site. So, the fact of the matter is, sometimes you be like, oh, I don't use WordPress. You actually might be using WordPress. You just don't know it. A lot of the technology from them is working on other sites. If you have a site, Spotify site, if you have a Wix site, what's another one of the ones that you can? There's a bunch of them out there where you can just spin up a website really quickly. GoDaddy, if you have a GoDaddy website and you've created your website on GoDaddy, you're actually using WordPress. So WordPress is very pervasive. It's all over the internet, and it's not going away. There are some new technologies coming out there, but it's not going away for a very, very, very long time.
Yeah, and I think it'll enhance, right? And the 3
Sure.
technologies to definitely watch out for. Obviously, AI has been around, so I'm not going to say like it's always been there, but I think there's a little bit of a nuance there because ChatGTP just made it easier by prompting, by allowing people to ask questions and it acting on behalf and kind of answering those questions. I think it's going to replace Google? No, but do I see Google creating something very close and getting to that? I do. Google's not going anywhere. They have a massive,
Oh, absolutely.
massive foothold. And I
90%.
think augmented reality. What was that?
The Bing is only like 10% of the internet. Actually, everybody else is 10% of the internet, excuse me, and Google is 90%. I think one of the videos I'm most looking forward to putting out there is I use a certain amount of plugins on every one of my WordPress websites. And I'm going to be premiering a video of the plugins that I use on every single site that make it more professional and make it run faster and just work better. So stay tuned for that one, because I really think in 2023 there's going to be I'm going to have my 2023 list of plugins that I use on my WordPress websites. So.
But like I said, WordPress is still our favorite to go to. I mean, look, we can design a funnel, we can build it anywhere, but we just love the plugin options. We love the things that it does, and WordPress is still king in a lot of avenues. But I will tell you, stick to simplicity going into the new year. Use AI to enhance your marketing, and then more important, stay tuned to some of the things we're going to be going live as we test different tools and tell you how we're doing with them and how we're leveraging them. Check out our YouTube channel, like. Bunch of free information that we give in there to help you like set up your everything from your business from ground up, and even learn a little bit about digital marketing, just to kind of help you out. And it's a completely free resource, so have at it, go in there. But more importantly, if you didn't go into the rabbit hole just yet, we probably lost like our moms only that are watching, but like probably like 2 other viewers that are now in the Futurepedia and Future Tools. 2 very good tools to use just to learn about AI, play around with them. Some of them are free. And Andy, because you're a super creative mind, you got to look into something called Midjourney. I will definitely lose you for about a week.
Okay, so hold on a minute. Okay, so yeah, so that my wife is an amazing person, and yeah, Midjourney is a rabbit hole, and I've already created, if I can find it, I created photos of her as Wonder Woman in Midjourney. Yeah, I had a little fun there. That can I'm not bringing where the heck is it? I gotta show you this stuff. Oh, here it is. Yeah. So just a little bit of a preview of what I've been doing inside of Midjourney. Let me share my screen. Okay, share window. There we go. All right, take a look at this one.
That's still not showing, so I think
here we go. So this
wow, that is amazing. That is amazing.
Okay, and cool. I've been working out a lot lately. I've lost weight this year, and I don't know if you notice a little bit of something that's behind me, but this Midjourney thing only shows me my true potential.
I can't wait for this.
You see that? This is a real photo. I'm gonna put this into Midjourney. Is that a start? It's the jacket. If you look at our
that's the jacket from one of your photos. I remember that. That's the jacket from when you were taking the photos.
Right. So I took I'll show you the photo I used originally. I think this is I loved it. I got really lost in it for about an hour. Let me see on my desktop. There it is. So the original photo, yeah, this is the original photo. That's the original photo. And they already saw
it made Superman out of that. Wow, that is pretty amazing.
Comparable. Basically the same thing. You know what I mean? So, there's really no difference between the 2 photos, because that's what I look like after I'm working out, right? So, and then it even changed the side.
I know. I like the pose. Well, Andy, that is some potential you got going on there, man. I knew there was always something about you I can figure out. It was always those glasses look familiar.
Yeah.
Well, with that said, folks, like I said, keep it easy. Keep to the 5 marketing tools that we suggest. Again, that's where we're placing our bets this year. And follow us on YouTube and everywhere else. And we'll see you guys on the next one. All right. Thank you.